Well, yes, I mean, you're right in saying that the city's infrastructure has been neglected for far too long. It was not being upgraded, not being repaired, and that's why we're dealing with so many electrical outages. But this is over the last few decades. I've only been mayor for 5 months, and for 5 months, for us to be at this point, I think we've done really, really well. So yes, I wish it had happened in previous administrations, but we're here now. We are looking backwards at all the gaps that have been created by this lack of maintenance and of infrastructure over the years. We've quantified what it would take for us to stabilize supply. City Power has given us a figure of about 26 billion over 8 years to stabilize electricity supply. That's if we do it alone. Of course, if we do it with partners, then we can do it sooner because we leverage their resources as well. And that's the idea behind the Energy Indaba. It's to have discussions with everybody in the energy space, whether you're an academic, an innovator, an entrepreneur, or whatever the case may be, to talk about the Joburg energy crisis and to look at what can be done collectively to resolve it in as quick a time as possible. Of course, what we want to achieve is to open up for greater participation by independent power producers and small-scale energy generators. We also want to see them compete, and we want them to also compete on pricing. So we want to see the cost of energy supply for our ratepayers being lowered. We want to stabilize supply. We want to offset load shedding. And these are some of the things that we would like to benefit from the Indaba.
What are your timelines? You've started the conversation today. I'm sure you have a date on the horizon that, in 2-3 years' time, we want to see things stabilized. We want to see the economic hub really functioning as it should be.
Well, as I've said, if City Power were to go it alone, we're looking at 5 to 8 years, depending on how much the city is able to fund the initiative. So currently, the 26 billion projection is until 2030, but of course that's too long. Ideally, we would like to turn things around in this current administration. While we're still in government, hopefully we'll be in government again in the next administration, but we've got this time and we want to use it wisely. So we're going to have to do a lot to generate revenue, to attract loans, grants, subsidies to assist us. We're also going to have to move money away from unfunded mandates. We have to find a way to do that. And that's going to happen through a series of conversations that we'll be having with National Treasury and other tiers of government, because we do need to focus on core municipal mandates. And basic service delivery is core municipal. It's a core municipal competency. We need to be funding that first and then doing the rest out of our reserves. But currently it's the other way around. We're barely keeping the lights on. We're barely keeping the taps running because we're focusing on everything under the sun instead of focusing on what is by law a municipal function.
Yeah. Ratepayers are very despondent right now, and cable theft also has a lot to do with how they are feeling, despite the fact that the power utility has its own challenges. What would you like to say to them about how this is going to be resolved in future?
We understand their frustrations. They're paying rates, they're helping us run the city, and they're not getting value for money. And it's because of what I've already outlined, the neglect over the last few decades. I want to encourage them not to give up yet. There's a new administration in town. The Joburg multi-party government is intent on doing good on its promises to stabilize power supply and get the basics right. And we're going to need our ratepayers to do this with us. So I want to encourage them that things are about to change. If you look at the Indaba, it's oversubscribed. People want to be a part of the change that's coming. We've got exhibitors. I think we've got 36 exhibitors. We've got over 500 delegates. We've got 120 learners over the 2-day period. There's a vibe and a new energy around, this hope that we can actually reclaim Johannesburg and make it the city of gold that we all want it to be.